I would like some the public input before we go ahead and approve the the money, for Morris to go ahead. That's my main
Well, you
concern.
can't have, I don't think you can have
Yes.
a public hearing until you have the final plans. We've had one.
No, I spoke to Ray Jakowski from Morris, who's running this project, and he said we have preliminary drawings, we have a site
do.
drawing, we have some tentative budget numbers, which he would be more than willing to present to the public, so we have more public input. I know he did it last August. Yes.
We did a special meeting.
But with who? How many
A
people?
special meeting was brought up,
Yeah.
to make a presentation.
And like I said, I think it should be advertised for more public.
So what you're saying is you would like to have another public informational meeting before we
That's
establish
my-
the project?
That's my personal.
I think what we should do is, first of all, we just received these documents, okay, the final documents. We received drafts on Tuesday with some relatively large numbers filled in, which resulted in, on the draft, $850,000 being transferred from the general fund, plus another $116,000 for the engineers, so there's $1 million right there. So I think we really, really have to have the public approval for this thing. I think we can do that in a number of ways. I think the board can circulate a letter to all the residents explaining the project at this point, where the financing is going to come from, mention some public hearings that we may set in the future so that they can come and ask questions. I think maybe a public referendum. I don't know if it's too late for that. But the fact of the matter is, the resolution is stating $2 million. That's almost the size of the entire town budget.
The resolution states it as the maximum. It does
Right,
not say
$2
it's going
million.
to cost that.
$2 million
Right.
in case
But
it's
it's not, no, it's not saying it will cost it.
No.
It
I
said it is
understand
not
that.
to exceed $2
Yeah,
million.
projected number is
Right. The
1.7.
total anticipated budget is not to exceed.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed
Right.
$2 million.
Right.
So I think it's imperative that the public.
Did
we
you come to the
communicate
first public hearing we
I
had?
did. I went to one of the public hearings where we had a handful of people. Several of them are in here today, but a handful of people is not representative of the community. I think if you communicate to the community what's going on by a letter, I mean, bulk mail, it's a couple $100. We can draft the letter as a board. The committee can be involved in drafting something up, but it has to be communicated to the community to get their support to spend all of this money, their tax dollars.
But that's not what this is doing.
I understand all of that. I understand all that, but we're talking about a first step here, which wasn't done. Bob,
Not only that, in terms of...
I don't think we've sent the
What
letter out.
can-
We're
wait,
gonna have a public
can-
hearing.
Bob,
That's
can you
what
answer?
The whole thing is about. We gotta put this thing together so you can have a public hearing. You just can't take the little flat plan we have right now. He's made this presentation 3 times.
No, Ray.
Yeah.
He's
Ray
gonna make
told.
the same presentation.
Yeah, and he said he's willing to do that.
Of
The
course
thing
he-
is, Bob, to approve this much money on a project that we don't know if we have full public support.
We're not approving
You're
the
not-
money.
You're setting, you're
Giving
asking,
them the opportunity, we're approving enough money for them to do the plans.
no, we're not.
Yes, you
Not
are.
by this
Because-
resolution.
No,
Yes, you
we're
are,
not.
because then you have to have the public hearing. You need, according to Bill, in the last special meeting we had to have those plans in order to have to present it to the public hearing. We had to spend that money. Was that the motion?
Let me try to straighten out, I guess, the process. In order to create a project, you need to create a capital project if you are going to use capital money to pay for the project. So if you're not going to take it out of the general fund, the proper way is to create a budget, a capital project budget. That's what this resolution is attempting to do, is to set up a fund balance called capital project. It's not moving the money into that, it's creating that framework so that you start the process. And at that point in time, everything you spend on that project can be allocated out of the capital project. So this is the first in a series of things that gets you to the point where you make a decision to go forward or not. It is a step.
That's at the public hearing. Make that decision to go forward.
No, the issue of, this is not a public hearing issue. This is just a creation of a capital fund account. Okay, the next step in the process, which is a very big step in many ways, is to then approve an engineer to develop plans and specs for what you want to build. That's an expense that essentially the engineering, the architecture, whatever, the surveying, all those soft costs that go into that, that gets you to the point where you develop a set of specs that you can then go out to bid on. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily building the project yet, but it is a commitment of a large chunk of money to the process to build it. The next step after that is to go out to public bid and then award a bid and then start construction. And along,
But I think in the special meeting, you said that we needed those plans completed before we had the public hearing.
no, what I said, you can't go out and start building it without plans.
No,
No,
you
you
said
did say
we needed the plans.
You need the plans. You can't start bidding it, you can't
No,
do
I know
anything
that.
else.
I mean, so what you're saying is we need a public hearing now then?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm
Well,
saying you need to adopt a capital project
right.
as your process to get to the point.
Okay, if we start that, then we can have a public hearing to show the people. We don't have to spend any of that money, is that correct?
We don't need to establish a capital project to have the public hearing.
Correct.
I think
You
that's
do-
what Chris is saying with Ray Jurkowski.
Yeah.
He's more than happy to come. The point is,
Excuse me, would we pay him for coming?
We've had
This
so many of
hourly,
these already.
their hourly rate, which is, I believe, $154 an hour.
So we can pay him again to do what he's done 3 times already?
the problem is, it has not been coordinated at all. The community has not been informed at all. They've been told it's a public hearing, and as we have seen, we have a handful of people that come to a public hearing. That's not representative of the community. If you want real public input, if you want the community to know exactly what's going on with a maximum $2 million project, send them a letter. Tell them what's going
Mark,
on.
Okay, may I make a
the
comment?
public hearing that the highway committee, the highway garage committee had, in fact, came after they sent a letter to every resident in the town of Stanford, informing them about the project and saying that there was a public hearing. In fact, there was not a handful of people. It was quite well attended, as I recall.
It was a handful of people.
But if you would like, if the board, the point, from what I understand of this resolution, is that is not to delay starting the possibility of the project. This does not commit the town to spending the money. It doesn't commit to anything. And and we can, if there's something somewhere on that says we can stop it for some reason, and right?
Well, you haven't funded it. This is
I mean,
just
it's
to
not
set up
funding
the-
anything.
The fund.
It's just creating the idea of the
And
project
the
so that in
resolution-
fact the committee can go ahead and
the
begin
resolution can
working
be
on
set
it.
up at any time, correct?
You
can
can
vote
put
on
it
at
off
any
for, you
time.
can put it off for 6 months if
Okay,
you want.
Now, let me go back.
You
I
can.
haven't had the chance to look at any of this stuff, all right? So I would at least like the courtesy of being able to review it. I know that there was,
Well, I just got it this morning myself.
okay, I got it this afternoon.
How different is
Well-
it, Bill, from what we looked at before?
This resolution is new. This capital fund resolution came out of the 2 meetings that our accountant came to the board and recommended that we set up a capital project account.
So
So
there's
that's-
2 other meetings where the public was involved in the presentation of the garage and the finance.
You need to